Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for a post-match pint in association with Purity. Don't know why I'm smiling because we lost, but it doesn't matter because the vibe around Villa is very good anyway at the moment. Someone's vibe who's always good is Chris Dolan, and he is joining me today to chat Villa away at Liverpool, the 1-0 defeat, but we're also going to have a little looky at Norwich tomorrow night as well. But before we do get into those games, just time to tell you about Purity's special offer that they've got going on at the moment, which I'm sure is about to flash up on the screen right before my eyes. Oh, he's slow. I try to lead in slowly, thinking, there it is. Look at this. Two wonderful offers from our friends at Purity at the moment. So buy two Villa mini casks for £40. That's it, isn't it? Is that the only offer? And some kind of offer with the cans as for 40. And two sets of the. Oh, he's messed this up because it's got the casks, it's got the cans. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, there's two offers going on at the moment. You'll see them scrolling along the bottom of the screen. He's in my ear, but he has messed it up because the thing next to the can says mini casks. So that's not right. It says casks twice. So he has messed it up, and I'm in the right. He's in the wrong. But the good news is, if you use the code #VillaView, you'll get 10% off as well. Maybe get delivery in time for Christmas if you ordered now. It would be a good thing to have at Christmas. I've had them knocking around at Christmas and they are very, very satisfying. So yeah, go onto the Purity website, use our code, you'll get yourself some nice beer and you'll save yourself some money as well. Right, thank God that's over. Here's Dolan. Dolan, how are you?
Good. I quite enjoyed listening to you make an absolute horlicks of that. So
because this is what happens. I get put in impossible positions by other people.
Whenever we had a look at that offer before we went live, I was going to say why.
What didn't you say?
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. So I was like, why has he got two of the same offers up?
This is what I'm dealing with. I mean, I didn't even notice until I read it out, so that's a problem. You did notice and didn't say anything. Bates can't do anything right to save his life behind the scenes, so we're absolutely clown car between the three of us. But yeah, lost at Anfield. I think we probably expected we might lose. I think, did we both say it would probably be a narrow defeat? I know I definitely predicted a 2-1 defeat.
I didn't get round there in the pre-match.
Lavish lifestyle.
I was busy working.
But I think, like the Man City game, I think we all accept, that a narrow defeat, it's still progress, and we're all amazed at the progress in a short space of time overall.
Yeah, I mean, what I've come to realize, well, not come to realize, because I've realized it for a long time now, but just the bias towards the big six. The bias towards. I mean, some of the decisions on the weekend were dreadful. I mean, that. If you're a Leeds fan, and that penalty in the last minute.
Oh, I thought the Leeds ones were probably fair, if I'm being honest.
I thought that was harsh.
Did you? I mean, the Wolves one was harsh.
Yeah. It was.
The Wolves one was horrible. Yeah, I wouldn't have been happy being at the wrong end of that decision. But it was a funny weekend, really, because Man U relied on a penalty as well. I know Dean Smith wasn't happy with that award. Again, I thought that probably was a penalty.
I thought it was a penalty, but I just thought the Leeds and Chelsea in the last minute was particularly harsh. That was
I thought that was a stonewaller.
No.
See, this is the problem because we're sat here and we both think something different. Yeah. So, referees are all going to have different opinions on things to fans. It's a difficult one, isn't it? But it was like, so I had the Totally Football show this morning. So on Saturday, I watched all three games because I wanted to be prepped and ready and knew what had happened. Three of the most boring games in existence. 3 1-0 wins, all from penalties. Although obviously I didn't find the Villa game boring because I find us at the moment, even when we lose, I find it very interesting to watch, and there's always things that I notice, and there's elements of enjoyment from there. I didn't even realise we hadn't had a shot on target until the game finished because I actually thought it was a decent display. I thought we kept Liverpool at arm's length. A few scares, as you're always going to have in games like that. But they struggled to break us down. It wasn't like they were going around missing loads of sitters. They were dominant and they fully deserved the win.
Yeah.
I think took a penalty to beat us.
I think listening to the post match and saying, again, I was working, so I was trying to keep as up to date as I possibly could. And obviously, I've watched all the post match interviews and highlights, and listening to Gerrard, it was kind of like a containing game. They broke the game down into sections. It's like, right, let's get the half an hour, let's get the half time in the game, let's get the 60 minutes, and then his plan was for the last 15-20, let's bring a bit more of an attacking presence on the pitch, which he did with Buendia and Ings and Sanson, and let's try and go for it. And I think obviously the penalty came at just as he was going to change the mentality of the team. I think possibly we showed him a little bit too much respect. I understand him. I understand.
I think we just couldn't get out.
Yeah, I understand what he was saying. He was, you look at the last two games, Man City and today, and it was essentially a goal difference of 3-3.
Well, two. What do you mean? The goal difference across the two games?
Yeah.
We lost both by one goal, so 2. Yeah. Strong maths.
I think. Well, yeah. From a strong point. I think he felt that if we had gone gun ho, as he said, from kickoff, then we would have possibly got very, very badly beaten. So it was a containing job.
I think they're the best Liverpool. I've got to say, I watched Man City on Saturday, and they struggled against 10 men. Wolves are very organised in their defence.
I think the best,
even with 10 men. But Liverpool, when they're full too, I said that today. Yeah. Liverpool are the best.
I think they're the best team in club football. I think they're incredible to watch, and everything about them, is amazing. But I think whenever we kind of went for it in the last 15, we put them under pressure. We had chances. We had, we were a lot more. We took the game to them, and we never really caused them any massive issues, but we caused them problems. We caused them problems in that last 15, and for me, if that incident happens with Martinez taking down Mane or Salah, the way Alisson,
it's given. It's definitely given.
It's given. I thought the again Mings got bashed for it by the fans, but it wasn't the penalty. Mings got pushed by Salah.
I just say Mings had an incredible game at the back as well. He blocked everything,
and that I just thought that was so harsh. I thought it was so harsh. The theatrics from Salah at the end of the fall when he does about 3 different tumbles, it was pretty impressive. But listen, it was a game, I never thought we had any chance to win. Looking back over the big decisions, if they had gone our way, then we could have easily got a point out of that. I think to contain Liverpool from only being able to score from a set piece, from a penalty, to contain them in open play with, Salah being arguably the most informed player in world football.
Well, I think he's Messi reincarnated at the moment. Salah, he's incredible,
unbelievable. I thought it was another really, really, really positive display, and I think the big thing for us this season has been the defence. It's been the lack of consistency, and we've been far too easy to play against and far too easy to score against, and again, I thought our back four were outstanding. I thought Martinez made some really, really good saves, probably the kind of saves that you expect him to make. But he made some good saves in that first half, and as you said, Mings was outstanding, and there was that part. There was the breakaway from Liverpool in the second half.
Konsa,
3 against 1, and the composure was just a class. It's just a class. He's just a classy player,
Yeah, he's starting to get back to his best now, Konsa.
He really is, and I think, as you've pointed out before, Mings brings the best out of Konsa. I think they play really well together, and I think when they're not together, then either one of them tends to have a poor game or tends to make an individual error. But I think together, I just think it's a really, really sound partnership.
Well, that back 5 is back. I would say now, Martinez and the back 4. Yeah. Target. Salah wasn't at his best. No. Target, he didn't shackle him because he was always in the game. But he did a good job on him. Yeah. I would say coming back from injury, Target, and he's found a certain level of consistency again recently. Cash is the more attacking of the defenders, so he's always off as a threat. He finds himself in the box more often than not at the moment when we're attacking. So he's doing his side of the game going forward and defensively to an extent as well. Target's looking solid again. The centre backs have got their partnership going. That's probably one of Martinez's best games of the season, I would say. only shipping one from a penalty, like you say, we got 50% of it right. You know, you probably always, you don't expect to go to Anfield and get a clean sheet at the moment. I don't think many teams will go there and expect that to, but to only concede one from a penalty is good.
Yeah.
It was the second part. We just couldn't break.
Yeah.
We wanted to, but it just never really happened. I got to shout out Liverpool's midfield. Again, I've been on a podcast today, like a Premier League podcast, and someone else said this, so I'm nicking it. Those three in midfield, Fabinho, Henderson and Thiago, they offer so much positional sense and nous to that back four. So Robertson and Trent can just bomb onto the heart's content because those three will bail them out if they get caught up the pitch. And then Salah and Mane can do their thing, and Jota when he's on the pitch as well. They can all do their thing because those three in midfield, it's not the most creative midfield you'll ever see in the world, but they don't half know what they're doing defensively, and they gave a massive platform and we just couldn't break them down. We couldn't get past them. We wanted to break, but 9 times out of 10 Fabinho or Henderson would snuff it out. They're just a complete team, really. I mean, the only bit I would say that looked suspect for Liverpool was Alisson had a couple of rushes of blood to the head. He could have wiped Young out in the first half when he went through as well. Just, it's the kind of game, if you've got Bailey at full health, Traore, someone said below in the comments, just that extra bit of pace and guile on the break. Ramsey, I don't really think that position suits his game. I think he's better deeper. And Ashley Young, he'll give you a lot, but he hasn't got the pace that he used to have 10 years ago. So it's only really Watkins with pace on the break there, and we struggled to get him in the game. So the defensive side of the game worked really, really well. We just could never really get that break going. But again, I'm rambling on here, but it's like what you said. You wanted to get Buendia, get Ings on, hopefully at 0-0, and then go and hurt them. But the penalty disposed us of the chance of being able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think just on Henderson, I've said before, I think he's probably the most underrated footballer in world football, and arguably Liverpool's most successful captain, up there with one of the most successful captains because of what he's won and achieved. So I've always
won a fair bit in a short space of time.
Always rated him, Henderson, to fill in just Steven Gerrard's shoes and to do what he's done, and he's taken a bit of flack over the last decade. I think he's an exceptional footballer. Just moving on to what you were saying about, I just think we're lacking. We're lacking that little bit of extra nice from the bench. I think Sanson coming on really impressed. Gerrard. I think Gerrard likes him. I think Gerrard wants.
Yeah, if he's not got COVID, I think he might start tomorrow.
I think if he's COVID free, I think you'll see a midfield three of McGinn, Luis, and Sanson.
I agree.
I think McGinn, listening to his pre-match press conference today, like he adores John McGinn. He absolutely adores him, and you can just see McGinn just going from strength to strength. And
how much of a buzz must you get off that?
Oh, yeah.
Steve and Gerrard sitting there waxing lyrical about you, saying how much he loves you, like one of the best players that's ever played in your position. Yeah. You are going to be on top of the world.
And that's it, and that's the art of man management. It's when players like Gerrard speak, and when they're your manager, and when they've done what they've done in the game.
I love the fact you always call him a player, because you still think of him as being this player, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's still quite surreal to see him in an Aston Villa training kit in front of the media, talking about Aston Villa. It's a bit surreal. Kind of hasn't really sunk in yet. He has always been one of my favorite footballers to watch over the years. I've always had a lot of time for Stevie G, and closely followed his career when he was at Rangers. Even though I'm kind of maybe more on the Celtic side of what I am on the Celtic side of things, I always wanted him to do well at Rangers. Like I've said before, I think Celtic need Rangers as much as they hate to admit it. They need Rangers to be challenging alongside them, and so I always wanted him to do well, and so I was sort of secretly quite pleased of the job that he had done up there, and then to have him now at Villa. I don't know. I always think, like, you talk about like the fans being the 12th man. I always think if you have a manager on the touchline that just oozes presence and oozes that kind of presence and that winning mentality, for me, like that's a massive head start for me when you just know you've got someone like Steven Gerrard on the bench, on the touchline, in your corner, in your team. it must just give everyone a lift. It must give everyone a lift. You know, it's the way I felt about John Terry when you had someone like John Terry, you know, as assistant manager. What he's won in the game, what he's done in the game, just to have a winner around the dressing room, you know, all week, and then have him in you know, pitch side on match day. For me, it just kind of fills you with that confidence, and no doubt the players feel that as well. And yeah, I just think there's something about Gerrard that you just look at him. There's something in his eyes. He still looks pretty terrifying as well. Like, you wouldn't mess with him. You know,
I wouldn't want to scrap with him.
No. He you know, he looks like he could tear you. He'd tear you to shreds if he had to. And yeah, it's even when we lose, that both defeats we've come off, and I think all the other fans would say that 2 defeats where we've not come away feeling particularly disappointed, because, to be fair, they've been against 2 of the top teams in world football.
There's a way of losing, isn't there? I always think, you know, you win, and you're always going to be happy however you've played as long as you win. But there's kind of this way of losing in the 2 games we've lost. I don't like losing, but I can accept it, and I've still liked what I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's all about, you know, I think, yes, we took points off some of the big teams last season. You know, we did, you know, unbeaten against Chelsea, you know, beat Liverpool, beat Arsenal twice, beat Tottenham. So, you know, we did take points off the big teams, but I think where our season let us down last year was losing to teams like Burnley, Sheffield United, Brighton at home. You know, we lost to the sides that we should be beating, and we expected to beat. And I think if you look at Gerrard's start, the teams he's played, Palace, Brighton, Leicester, Burnley, and Norwich coming up. If we can win, you know, if we can win the next 2, that'll be 5 wins out of 7, which is, you know, that's top 6 form. That's top 6 form.
He's made a bit of a rod for his own back early doors, because now we go into these games, and if we don't win, we're going to be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because we've dispatched the sides that you would expect us to beat, like you say, not comfortably, but, you know, we beat them and played well, and they're the games you expect to win. So he's kind of created this thing now where we're going to Carrow Road tomorrow, and you're thinking, yeah, we should get 3 points there.
Yeah, we should be.
But, they weren't bad against Manchester
United.
No,
they were good. I thought they were.
They just haven't got an end product. I mean, no doubt they'll find it tomorrow night against us. But they're everything. They do everything well until that final decision, Norwich, and that's not nothing to do with Dean Smith. You know, that was already there. I think he's actually got more out of them so far than Daniel Farke did.
Yeah,
I think they look a better side, and the Norwich fans I know seem impressed with Dean Smith so far. It's going to be interesting coming up against him, because I don't know whether you saw any of his pre-match today.
I saw
He sounds not very happy with how things have gone down, and I've heard a couple of things that, you know, he's not happy with the way things went down at Villa Park, with the way he lost his job and the way Gerrard came in. It doesn't sound like he's too happy. So he's going to. I mean, Norwich need 3 points. You know, everyone wants 3 points, but Norwich need 3 points from home games. They'll be looking at, you know, realistically, Norwich will look at this and say, well, this is a game we have to win at home to Villa.
Yeah,
not because they think we're rubbish, but they'll just look at that and say, look, we need to take points at home against certain teams. They'll look at this as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Run Man U close, which, you know, can be done nowadays, in fairness, but they'll be thinking this is a game for us to take 3 points, and Dean Smith will want to beat Aston Villa, despite being a Villa fan.
Of course he will. And I think, as Gary Neville said on Saturday, any other team with a bit more quality probably would have went on to win that game against.
Yeah, Man U were not good.
No, they weren't. And De Gea made some outstanding saves. I thought Norwich looked really good. I thought they were full of energy and created some really, really, really good chances. So listen, Can we leave
that up on the bottom, please, producer? Because I want to touch on something there. Oh, as I say, he gets rid of it. Absolutely perfect. Vintage Bates.
Oh, he's going crazy in the background there.
He'll come back.
I really like Norwich. I think they've got some really, really good players. I've always liked Cantwell. I like Gilmore. I like Pookie. I like Max Aarons.
Is there anyone you don't like?
Well, that's it. I think they've got a really, really decent squad. I really do. I think they've got, one of the better squads in that sort of bottom 4 or 5 teams. I I think they've got some really good players, but as you say, they're just their end products. I like Rashika as well. You know, he'll probably, if he plays tomorrow night, he'll probably have an absolute world league against us, against the player that we thought we had signed last summer. So, yeah, I think we've got talent. I just think if we can play with the intensity and play with the ferociousness that we have done over the last 4 or 5 games, I think we should have enough.
They've got problems at the back. Hanley went off and he won't be playing tomorrow by the looks of it. Gibson didn't play at the weekend. I, to be honest, don't know his fitness or health situation or whether it was a suspension. But, you know, if he's not playing, they've got a young Scandinavian midfielder playing at the centre-back in Jacob Sorensen, you know, so we'll be able to get at them. But I think this point at the bottom from original Tony G is quite interesting because he says only fair is that Smith knows everybody's weaknesses. But I would have said our weakness under Smith was the midfield.
Yeah.
Those midfielders look totally different now.
Yeah.
So stuff that was a weakness under Smith perhaps no longer is, and I'm not being disrespectful to Dean Smith here, but I just think the midfield has come on leaps and bounds in the 5 games. They all look better footballers than they did before Steven Gerrard came in. So, you know, the weaknesses that perhaps were there under Smith aren't there anymore, I would argue.
It'll be a very surreal moment for Dean Smith playing against a team that he put together. I'm sure he'll be in his mind. It'll be interesting to see how far we've come in that short space of time. You know, it's only been 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and the levels that we've seen from our players under Gerrard has been unrecognizable. And there's going to be a dip because it's
of course
possible to, you know, when you haven't got a squad full of elite sort of winning, you know, we haven't got a squad of winning. Of like that have that winning mentality, and it's
getting better though, isn't it? You can see the mental improvement as well coming from behind against Leicester.
Yeah.
Usually when we went behind, it felt like it was game over.
Yeah, and that's something that again that will improve on over time. But I think to come more to sort of get to where we are now after the you know the 4 or 5 weeks that George's been in is been it's been nothing short of you know, brilliant, really. I think he said he did say in his first press conference, it was all about getting to January and assessing it. I think he's taken it very much in, again, he's taken the season now in chunks. You know, it's like, right, let's get the first 5 out of the way. Let's analyze the first 5. Right now we've got Christmas. Let's get to January. Let's see where we're at with the squad. There's no doubt we'll see a few additions, especially now that we're hearing that Nakamba's potentially out for the rest of the season. We don't know that, but it doesn't.
It's not confirmed, is it? But the injury sounded pretty bad.
It doesn't sound great. So, you know, which is a real shame because he was bringing his game on to another level. So I think we'll probably see 1 or 2 come in January.
You were spreading rumours off camera. I won't reveal what you said.
But your man Kamara from Rangers. No,
you say it then. That's fine.
No, it's not rumour. I always think managers like handpick the best players from the previous clubs. Look at Smith, Watkins, and Konza. I think Gerrard will.
And he wanted Ben Rama as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I think Gerrard will probably dip in and grab 1 or 2 out of Rangers because.
Would you not think that actually, you know, he might have thought? Do you not think he might have thought? Well, to be fair, if Nakamba's injured, we probably do need a midfielder. But do you not think he would have thought? He'd have looked at Villa and thought, that midfield's not great. I probably need to do something there. But then he might have been surprised by what he's seen and they've been better than he thought. And he might now think, I don't need Kamara because actually that Sanson's a pretty good player.
Yeah, I mean, we've been better, but I don't think we're anywhere near the levels that he wants us to get to. I don't think we've controlled many games of football that we've played yet.
True.
So I think it's utilising and it's getting the best out of what we have. I still think when we've missed players like we have done this season, the squads look very light. The benches look quite light, and we've lacked a bit of depth because we're missing 3 or 4 players. And would you not agree? No,
I'm just thinking when everyone's fit, you could argue about the quality of certain positions.
Yeah,
but numbers wise, and with the academy players coming through, I would say the squad size isn't necessarily bad. It's maybe just the quality in certain areas. Like you lose a player, and then so at the moment Bailey's not playing. I'm not saying he was pulling up trees, but you know he's not there. Traore's not there. maybe the options aren't that great, but if they were there, you'd probably maybe say the squad size was okay. It's just a few areas lacking a little bit of class.
Yeah, I just think we're still lacking a bit of depth in I think we're still lacking depth at left back. I still think we need a bit more depth on the wings, and I think with Ings and Watkins.
If you'd have been told a year ago, I feel like we're going to be going to Anfield and bringing on Danny Ings as a sub striker, you'd have been chuffed.
Yeah, but
I would have been too.
Yeah, but I've said before, we can't seem to fit him into the team. We can't seem to get him into the team. It's like,
but that's fine, isn't it? If he's on the bench, what a player to bring on.
Yeah, no, I get that, but you don't spend 30 million on Danny Ings and keep him on the bench. And I just felt maybe, I just felt that it was not a panic buy, but it did come out of nowhere. But we've just been unable. To be honest, I think that's what cost us. Under Smith, I think Smith playing that 4-4-2 just didn't suit him, and I think bringing in Ings hasn't cost Smith his job, but I think the lack of stability within the squad and within the formation, he's kind of paid the price for that, because we know that we were just lacking. We were lacking an identity. We were short in fitness, and we didn't know our best formation, and it just got a little bit messy, and a little bit out of hand. And when he dropped Mings, then you sort of that's kind of the end, when you start having to drop your captain to prove a point. So yeah, I still think we're lacking in some areas, and I think we'll see one or two come in January for sure.
It might be interesting. I'm honestly not sure. I'm probably 50-50 on whether I think that we'll be active or not. I mean, that's a stupid thing to say, because you're either active or you're not. But do you know what I mean? I'm undecided of what I think we'll do. Now, I want to back him, and summer you'll see some serious backing, because that's what this board does. Back managers heavily. The board are willing to spend an awful lot of money, but January is never great. It sounds cliche, but it is never great to bring anyone in.
No, it's not.
But you think if he did want Kamara from Rangers, for example, we'd be able to go and do that. They're not going to want silly money.
I don't know anything about Glenn Kamara. I just know that everybody within Scottish football thinks he's got enough to make a step up.
Yeah, he's very highly rated. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I've watched loads of him, because I haven't, but the people I've spoken to who would know about Scottish football do rate him. And it's not like people never come from Scotland and do well.
Well, that you could list off Michael.
John McGinn.
John McGinn.
I'd not heard of John McGinn particularly until he rocked up at Villa Park, and what a signing he's been for 2.5 million or whatever it was he cost. Van
Dijk, Robertson, Wanyama. Yeah. There's been
Tierney.
Yeah, there's been a lot of really, really, really good footballers that come from Scotland, and by all accounts, he seems to be the player in the league that's probably going to get the next big money move out of Scotland. And
he's done his time at Rangers as well. He's been there a few years now.
It's just what people do. It's what managers do. They leverage on players that they know already in the club. Like he's leveraged on Ashley Young a lot, and obviously I'd imagine so on the likes of Danny Ings, because he's played with Danny Ings, but.
I don't think he played with Ings. I think Ings was just there when he was when he was coach. But he knows him. He knows him well.
Yeah. And I just think, like we've seen with many managers, they all, like I said previously, they do tend to go back and handpick one or two of the star players from the previous.
Well, he's done it with the coaching staff.
Did it with the coaching staff, and I think I think he'll I don't think maybe the likes of Ryan Kent or where we want to go to as a footballer, as a football club. I just think he's probably not going to quite reach the heights that we need. So the only player I can think of would be Kamara, just because of the press that's been around him, and because of what I've heard and how highly rated he is. We had our friend whose name has eluded me on the podcast from the Rangers podcast when Gerrard was announced, and he was saying that Kamara's, Arsenal were looking at him, Chelsea were looking at him, I think Spurs were looking at him. So there's been some top clubs that have been keeping a close eye on him. But I just think I do think we'll go in for him in January.
Be interesting to see what happens. I mean, this has turned into a transfer show from absolutely nowhere. We had 2 games to look at, one that has just happened and one that's tomorrow, and we've ended up into a transfer chat. But that's sometimes the way these things go. Give me a score prediction then, Dolan, for Norwich tomorrow. What am I doing? Yeah, I suppose it is still a match preview kind of thing. Yeah, let's go with it.
I don't know, man. I mean,
I've gone 2-0 to Villa on who scored.
You gone 2-0?
And I've got pretty much got Villa's score spot on since Gerrard came in.
I don't fancy us tomorrow night.
I mean, I say every time you say that, but this is just an everyday conversation with you. Guarantee, like Villa are playing 3 p.m. on a Saturday at 2:58. I'll get the text. Oh, I don't fancy us today. Like I see Chris Darling pop up on WhatsApp, and I know exactly what the message is going to
say. At least I'm consistent.
It's very great consistency, unbelievable consistency.
At least I'm consistent.
Yeah, unlike the producer.
What do I think about tomorrow?
I mean, it's not a killer question.
2-1 Villa.
2-1 Villa. You just said you don't fancy us, and then you predicted us to win. Which one is it? Where's the consistency that you've just spoke about?
I'm not going to predict us to lose. I don't fancy.
I mean, we've all predicted Villa to lose on this podcast before on this show.
I don't fancy us, but I have to go with it. I have to go with a Villa 2-1 win.
I feel like Dean Smith's Villa. I know maybe it was more Championship. I remember going there maybe it wasn't under Dean Smith. I remember going there a few times in the Championship and losing. We got a good recent record against them. Connor always used to score against them. The season he scored in both games, didn't he?
Dean Smith's second game in charge was against Norwich. We went.
Yeah, Chesney scored, didn't he? But we lost.
Not had a great record, in the Championship. We
won both games in the Premier League. The last time Norwich were in the Premier League, we won 5-1 and 1-0 at Villa Park.
Yeah, 1-1 on the Boxing Day, and
5-1 with Wesley hat-trick.
5-1.
Yeah, we've got some decent form recently.
And I'm trying to think the year before when
we didn't play the year before. We lost under Bruce.
We had some good games in the Cup as well. We had some good games in the Cup against them. I remember Lambert, we beat them in the Cup 4-2. Benteke.
Glad you remember that, because I don't have memory of that whatsoever.
It was a midweek Cup game. And then Gabby.
Great memory if you've pulled that off, because I don't remember that at all.
It was a midweek. Cup game. Weimann and Benteke had a field day. I think it was 4-2 in the end. It was the year we went to the semis and got dumped out by Bradford.
I knew exactly what year it was going to be when that sentence started.
Yeah. And then do you remember Gabby's goal?
Yep. Two past Mark Bunn.
2-1. Yeah. That was the day after I got engaged. That was.
There you go. We've had a few. It's been a mixed bag, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've had a few over the years. Just not a great record in the Championship, but they were always a much better team, I felt, in the Championship than we were.
It's a bit better structure, didn't they?
Yeah, they were.
Hadn't gone as wild in the Championship transfer market as us.
No, they hadn't. No. But it'll be interesting. Yeah, I don't know. You sort of look at like the Liverpool game, and people thought, is there going to be something in the air where we'll go and Stevie G will be there and we'll win the game? Is there going to be that kind of like magic in the air? But I think Norwich fans will be probably thinking the same thing tomorrow night.
They need to pull some wins out.
Points, yeah. I mean, Spurs kind of brushed past them.
They played quite well in that game as well. They can't finish. Famous last words when everything hits the back of the net tomorrow, but. Yeah, they just can't finish. That's the main issue.
Yeah, and then they were very good against United on Saturday. They beat Southampton and they beat Brentford. Farke's last game in charge was against Brentford, wasn't it? So
yeah, they're not as cut adrift as you perhaps would think when you look at the league tab.
I mean, none of the teams down there are because Watford have kind of dipped. They've slipped back into the old ways. Newcastle obviously have got absolutely battered on Sunday.
They're gone. They're 100% gone.
I don't know, man.
They are gone. Quote me, they're finished.
Yeah,
they're finished. Absolutely. Watford remind me a little bit of us under Lambert. They can't defend to save their life, but they've got quite a dangerous front three that on the day they could beat anyone because they might score some goals.
Dennis Sarr and
King.
And King, yeah, King.
It's got Gabby, Benteke and Weimann vibes.
Yeah. I got slated for wanting us to sign Josh King a couple of transfer windows ago, but
that is a peak Dolan transfer suggestion. I think he's been suggested for about 4 years on the Villa View that we signed Josh King.
He has. But no, listen, it'll be a strange atmosphere tomorrow night, especially from our.
You'll get a good reception.
We'll get a call. Of course you will.
We haven't even spoke about Buendia going back.
Yeah, I mean,
Gerrard basically said he started.
Yeah, he did. No, he did say it today.
Yeah,
he said he'll start.
I like that. I got a good feeling for him tomorrow.
Yeah, you can imagine. You can imagine him rocking up, and again, you talk about Dean Smith knowing the players, and Dean Smith like Buendia will know most of that dressing room as well. He'll know how their strengths and their weaknesses. He'll be very comfortable playing on that pitch. He'll know every bit of grass, and he'll feel at home again. You know, he was.
I bet he's run amok against some of those defenders in training.
Oh
before.
yeah, exactly. So you know, we have a little bit of inside knowledge, just as much as they have on us with Buendia. So it'll be it'll be a game that we need to win, and a game that, based on the last 4 or 5 results, a game we should be winning.
I'm worried about that. I'm worried about him creating a rod for his own back.
Norwich have never won a game on a Tuesday night. They've never won a Premier League game on a Tuesday.
Where have you pulled that from? Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. True stuff.
Really?
Yeah, never.
Where'd you pull that from?
I saw it somewhere. I saw it somewhere today and just thought, oh no. Oh no!
Oh, yeah, that's not. I don't like hearing things like that particular.
No, so they've never won a Premier League game on a Tuesday.
Great.
Well, again, I don't know how much. What was it? I think we played 10, and
is that true? We'll find out.
It's on Villa. Yeah, I think it's on that. Did I see it on that Villa stats? The Villa stats page.
We've been told in our ear that it's correct.
Villa Stato. Let me see if it's still here. If it's up there from when I saw it. Norwich had never won. Yeah, so they've never won a game on a Tuesday night. They played
14 attempts.
Drawn 4, lost 11.
15 attempts.
So yeah, never won a Premier League game on a Tuesday night. So
man, they were knocking around in the Premier League in '92 as well. So there's not like they've not been in the Premier League that much. You know, they've spent a fair bit of time in there. Interesting. We'll see what happens. Hopefully that trend continues. We will be back after the game tomorrow night doing a post-match point. No idea who's going to be on it, but someone will be on talking about the game with me. So I look forward.
I can do tomorrow night.
Oh, there we go. Be you then, and we'll get someone else on as well. So there's a little bit of a change. We'll get 3 of us on doing a post-match point. Oh, look at it.
Oh,
he's been busy. He has been busy. Spot the mistake, darling. There must be one somewhere. Yeah. 2 cases of Purity Pale cans, the same ones at Villa Park for £50, a saving of £18. Is that saving including our code, #VillaView, or is there another? Oh, so there's another saving if you add the code #VillaView. Those cans are good, especially the big ones. The normal cans are a bit small for my liking. And then 2 Villa mini kegs for £40, which is a saving of £6. And again, use the code #VillaView and you'll save even more money. Essentially, you'll save on delivery, I think. So take advantage of those offers just before Christmas. All good stuff with Purity. And there's nothing better than sinking a nice beverage with Villa's badge on. It brings me an awful lot of satisfaction. So you can be doing the same. Take advantage of those offers. We'll make sure the links are in the description on this video as well. Don't forget your Steven Gerrard mugs. Christmas is coming. Stocking filler for the Villa fan in your life or for yourself. Take advantage of that as well. $6.99, I think they are. So it helps the channel a little bit and you get yourself a Steven Gerrard mug to drink your tea or coffee out of. As I say, we'll be back tomorrow, Dole and myself, and we'll get someone else as well. Lovely. Really enjoyed that, Dolan. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for watching. Up the Villa.